the Vagina Sistina story that goes with the cover-to-cover reading.
So we started this series, Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic, at Ice Cream Renaissance here in town. And the people who owned Ice Cream Renaissance very much supported us. It was a very nice couple. They allowed it to be, before it was called Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic, all I had was a tagline, and the slogan was all ages and uncensored, and that's the only way that I'll do it if I'm going to be hosting an open mic. That was and so we've always had kids, and we've always had adults who are free to make the decision for themselves what they're going to say or read from the mic. So we had GL read the poem that she wants me to read to you, which includes a chant, Vagina Yum, and a month before or after her, we had a great poet named Roy Seitz, who was a sniper during the Vietnam conflict, and so would read these poems about that experience, and you could hear a pin drop in the room, and he really puts you there, and I'm assuming that was one of his ways of sort of healing, helping himself to heal from that. So anyway, at some point before these two readings that I just mentioned, the restaurant changed hands, and so whoever it was that took it over had some issues with our content. They were not happy about something. They weren't specific with me about what it was, although since GL had just been there, we could kind of guess that it might have had something to do with the vagina chant. And as soon as I heard that, I knew I had to move it somewhere else. And at that time, Cover to Cover Books was a couple of doors down. It was really right down the street. So after December's reading, and I can't remember if that was GL or Roy, and I had this conversation with the venue, I went to Cover, I asked Mel Sanders, the owner of Cover to Cover, whether she would be willing to let us do it there, and she said yes. And so, the thing had already been going on for a few years, and I didn't want to miss Second Thursday. We've been doing every second Thursday since November 2004, and I know that if you go away or you change the night, that you lose people. They drift away from the thing, or they lose interest, and I didn't want that to happen. And so before December was over and January began, I got permission to move it to Cover, and we moved it there, and it was great. But yes, I mean, we could say that GL is at least partly responsible for shutting us down at Ice Cream Renaissance. And of course, we're really happy to be at Cover because a bookstore is probably a better venue for an open mic than an ice cream place. I loved being there, but I had done tons of readings in nightclubs and bars, and with people screaming at me while I was trying to read. I was used to that. But open mics attract a lot of people that are really new to writing, and they're nervous, and maybe it's their first time ever sharing their work for people. And so I wasn't really thinking about how that was keeping some people away, because at the ice cream place, half of the place would be people who are, banging their spoons and talking really loudly while people are trying to read. And of course, at the bookstore, they're staying open late just for us, and it's a bookstore. So I mean, it turned out to be a good thing that we changed it. But yeah, thanks for being a part of the notorious legend of Ghost Towns. Okay, so it would be my pleasure to read this. And aren't there instructions that go along with this? Do you want to ask people to help you with it somewhere? Or is that a different vagina poem?
I know that totally. The instructions are not written in. I should write it into your copy.
Yeah.
It's that I invited everyone in the audience to, every time I said the word vagina, say vagina. Well, I would say vagina, they would say yum, and I would get them to practice it. Vagina. Yum.
Yum.
See how you do that? Okay, so I invite you to do that. I wasn't expecting to read both, but any excuse to say vagina in public is okay with me. Vagina Sistina. I know it is there, beneath your clothes. How can I think of anything else? Each night closes around us, shapes itself into flowering flesh. Faint at first, then wetly, stars appear. They glisten, trickle at the edges of evening, stars like dewdrops on a flowering bush. A bird's worth, one in hand, two in the bush. The sun rises and sets beneath your clothes. It smells like bread, rain, sea at evening. How can I think of anything else? It is everything and nothing, like looking into a mirror. I appear beautiful in you. Love myself clothed in your flesh. The sky is a vagina spread above us. Blue or clouded flesh, the ground closed hilly legs, canyons, pubic grass, flowering bushes. Open and closed, closed and open, say yes and no. No and yes, as appears correct to her, in her own time, in her own way. Wise, sphinx-like, your vagina is buried in the sands of your clothes. How can I think of anything else? Its wisdom, its symmetry, its silence or bubbling declarations. The moon has crept into your pocket. The whole evening wants to be closer to your vagina. Now I have to find my plate. There it is. There's so much vagina on the page that my eyes are getting blurry. Flesh flower. Why would I want to think of anything else? The universe begins with the vagina.
Yum.
Each life, each star. This is known as the big vagina theory.
Yum.
Yummy theory. Mysterious universes, it must be crowded beneath your clothes. The woman herself and not the metaphor appears. The woman herself and not the metaphor appears and pushes aside stars, flowers, the sea, this evening. The real thing is there, beneath her clothes. She doesn't need metaphor to gild her lily, to bronze her flesh. Call a bush, a pookie, pussy, quim, honeypot, vagina.
Yum.
It doesn't need to smell like, sound like anything else. Can you think of anything that would be as nice? What appears finer than a vagina?
Yum.
Nice rhyme. Vaginas are individual as snowflakes. Pray for a snowstorm some evening. The vagina wants you.
Yum.
Call home. Gravity pulls you back like the tide to the vagina.
Yum.
And to her we shall return. Put your ear against her fleshy shell. You can hear the sea beneath her clothes. When clothes fall like rain, her rainbow flesh appears like a promise. Anything else is a waste of the evening. Flesh opening like night, sweat glistens like stars around the hard moon of her clit. Her lips meet mine in an open kiss. It's a beautiful poem.